Well, this week, so obviously, I'm going through socials, I'm talking to people, and I got some questions. So as I'm going through some of these operations and talking to underwriters and things just pop up, and so this is a great opportunity for me to ask questions from you. And one of the first ones that came up was so chemical tracing tests. So not a term that I was incredibly familiar with. Like, I know companies do like acidizing, stuff like that, but what's a chem tracing test? Why does a company do it? What would a typical operation look like for that?
So chem tracing tests are excellent tests for usually during completions or actually production of the well in order to see where your fluids and everything are coming from. And so it's a very tangible result. You can either do it in your individual well. So like during your frac, you would go down there and in one of the stages, you would add this chemical tracer in there. And then, you go through your plug and your perf and you start flowing the well back. And then you can test your water samples or your gas samples to see whenever that tracer comes back. In an individual well test like that, it's really good because sometimes you'll put the tracer out there at the toe of your well and you'll be watching your fluids and maybe 6, 8, 12 months later, you're not seeing any of that tracer return. And so you know at that point that you're not getting production from your entire lateral and you can go in there and intervene. Maybe you've got some plugs, if you're using dissolvable plugs, some plugs that didn't dissolve. And so, it just gives you an idea of that maybe your entire lateral isn't producing and you're not getting the maximum efficiency there. One of the other ways that you can use tracers is, if you're maybe in like an end of life of these wells where you're doing something like a water flood, you can put some fluid into your injector, put tracer into your injector wells, and then you're testing samples coming from your producing wells and see where's your injection fluid going, how much is going to one well versus the other. And so it's really great tangible result to try and give some idea of what's going on downhole.
So is it one chemical that's basically they're saying, okay, based on this region, based on the type of well this is, we're going to use this chemical, and then they pump that down during the frac job? Is that the idea?
Not necessarily. So a lot of times what you do is you have multiple tracers, and so you can use discrete tracers for each interval. So, if you put the same tracer in the heel that you put in the toe and you got it back, you wouldn't know where that fluid was coming from. So you use a different tracer for the toe of the well. You'd use a different tracer in the middle and then a different one at the heel, so you can see, how each individual stage or interval is contributing to your production.